What's going on, YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Latrice. This is your review for Belle Collective Season 2, Episode, I believe, 10, Reunion Part 1. Really quickly, so the panel, the Whether You Like It or Not panel, will be on my channel, but we're taking a week break. So we'll be back, not this upcoming, but the following Monday now. We're going back to Mondays. So be prepared for that. And what we will end up doing is we'll just go ahead and talk about this particular episode and the part two of this reunion on the panel, and then we'll jump right into Potomac, and we're gonna ride Potomac off until the wheels break off. So that's what we're gonna do. And y'all know we gonna have a good time. Y'all know we gonna cut up. All right. Now, I have a feeling we probably gonna be live more than 2 hours, but we shall see. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into this recap. So it was all right. It was all right. Like for the most part, like I felt like a decent job was done with part one, meaning where we tackle what we need. Like it started off, with some ha ha, some hee hees, and all the other stuff, and then we actually started to dive into some real stuff rather than a whole lot of fluff. So I can appreciate that. And it's some things that I'll expound on a little bit later. Now, obviously, Carlos King is doing his Andy Cohen, going and talking to all the ladies, whatever, whatever. One thing we do see is Glenn is not in the dressing room with Letitia because of how the season ended with him texting or I guess sexting other women. So we start off with the whole, glow up from season one up until now. And with that, you have Letitia where, she was asked, okay, with all the weight loss, was it working out? Was it dropping Glenn? And she was like, yeah, it's a culmination. But, typically when women are going through, a rebirthing process of kind of like a, finding yourself again process. Sometimes, a woman will do something drastic or whatever, like cut their hair or whatnot. She just chose a different route, and that was, just eating healthy and trying to be healthier. Cool. We get Marie. Marie kind of alludes to the same thing with when it came to her hair. She was like, yeah, because, women will do the drastic thing going off of what Letitia said. Whatever. So we get the new girl introduction, right? So here we go. I need to sip my coffee right quick. Hold on. Okay. So, Ikea is asked about coming, joining the show. And she said she wanted to join because it's Jackson. And this is where she's from. Okay. Ikea says she's the reason for the high ratings. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not really going to say that. I mean, look, Ikea, like, when it comes to who has solidified, I guess, storylines throughout the season, the storylines that were the most concrete were Ikea versus, I'll be nice, Ikesha versus Letitia, Letitia versus Glenn, and then having Marie versus Latrice for a small smidge, but then just Marie dealing with her family issues. Those were the big storylines for this short season. So there's that. But in terms of the high ratings, I think what it is not necessarily it being IKEA, but it's typically a first season. Most first seasons are not always going to be explosive. Real Housewives of Atlanta is one of the exceptions. Like, they came out the gate swinging. But there was enough traction behind Belle Collective to where now people were coming back into it, and it's like, aha. And again, look, I'm tooting the horns of the YouTubers and whatnot. Whether people want to give the YouTubers credit or not, we do help funnel views to these shows. Because especially when some of us, now I don't have that many subscribers, I do have my dedicated fan base, but when you have, and the clique that I'm connected to, when you have some of us reviewing these shows and we have a nice following, sometimes people will watch a video and they don't even watch the show, and it's like, ooh, this sounds so enticing and engaging, so now they want to go back and watch it and like, ooh, okay, this was a decent season. I want to tune in for season 2. That's how that goes. So I'm not giving all that to Ikesha. Letitia says in response to that, she's not the reason for the high ratings. We're a collective. Cute. Tambra is asked about saying IKEA wasn't a good fit for season one because allegedly that is something that Tambra had said. Tambra says, she didn't say that, and all she said is IKEA, will throw shade, which she did. Letitia says IKEA was like her name was already present when you know when they were getting ready to pitch the show and whatnot. Like her name was already considered this, that, and the third. But Tambra said that IKEA wasn't there and hadn't been there for a long time, meaning she ain't been in Jackson. So why would we have her part of the show when she ain't been here for a hot diggity minute? And so Letitia says that her and Latrice pretty much just kind of went behind Tamara's back and went ahead to bring her on for season two, because they had all, I guess it had already been decided she wasn't going to be a part of season one. So Tambra mentions IKEA asking if there were any cute girls, and this was before the season had started. Season one, if I'm not mistaken. And then IKEA, or it might have been season two, but it's just before the season started. So IKEA doesn't know if she said it, but how much Tamara lies, she doesn't believe that she did say it. So Carlos asks if Tamara is lying. Letitia says it's not that, but Tamara, you do say things. Carlos asks IKEA how she feels hearing this from a childhood friend. So then Tamara jumps in and interjects and says they hadn't talked in a hot minute. Okay. And then the teaser for season one came out, and then they talked after that, and IKEA said, y'all didn't have any more cute girls? I'm like, So then Carlos asked Akeisha, are the girls cute? Tamara says, oh, not Tamara. I'm sorry, I put Tamara here. IKEA said, not on the picture y'all put up. Hell, if I think they're ugly, then they're ugly. She says, I don't remember saying it, but if I did, I'm sorry. I saw the girls up close and they're beautiful. Girl, you said it. You said it. Now, she could have easily just said, based off of the promo pics or the teaser or whatever from season one, no. Based off of that, they didn't look, all that attractive, appealing, cute, whatever the case may be. And but the fact that she said that, but then was just like, but if I did say, no, you said it. Just say you said it. In the words of Darren, if you said it, say you said it. If you did it, say you did it. Like, just stand in it. All right. So now we get IKEA versus Letitia. IKEA says at the brunch she saw her plate and it was dirty. And then she was like, to break the fourth wall, letting us know what happened. She said she turned to the producers and said to them, hey, my plate is dirty. And they said to her, don't tell us, because technically they're not supposed to be there. So that is when we got what we got. And she said, and that's when I went to Letitia, and Letitia gave me the reaction that she gave. Now, unless editing was wrong from what we saw, you saw that your plate was dirty, then you engaged with Latrice. Latrice was like, yeah, there's a speck or two on my plate. There was a little bit of conversation there, and then you went to Letitia. I'm just saying. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, or if it was production. It could be both. I don't know. And then she said that's when she went to Letitia, and Letitia said she didn't put this together. Now, it could be that she didn't put this brunch together and this was just production, or she did not create the space. Like, the brunch is hers, but she didn't create the space, and the people that were catering and or like doing the space, the event planner, they were responsible. Regardless of the fact, okay. Carlos says it appears Letitia was defensive. And honestly, anybody more than likely would be. If somebody is, and especially if you're wearing so many hats and you're trying to make sure that everything is flowing correctly, and then you have somebody potentially coming at you, and then we did learn during the season that based off of what Tamara has shared with the women, Letitia had a lot of that at the forefront of her mind, not in the back of her mind. So with it engaging with her, yes, she was going to be even more defensive. We get that. Letitia says that IKEA came to criticize. She saw Letitia was I'm sorry, and then then Letitia says she was up my ass to get on the show. I was her genie and I granted her wish. I'm like, that's cute, but I kind of felt like that was rehearsed. But it was cute though. It was cute. Carlos calms the scene, says IKEA is straightforward and direct, and maybe that is what Tamara was trying to explain. Carlos, stop trying. Don't be throwing people no bones now. Let them stand in and let them say what needs to be said. But again, I appreciate you for calming the scene. And here's the reality. Yes, you like. I'm a blunt, sarcastic, stubborn, uncompromising asshole. All right, and I make that clear. Anybody that I meet, I let them know like this is me off rip, just so you know, so you're not confused or surprised with anything that comes out of my mouth, right? But the fact that I am very blunt. Now I do have a little bit of couth, and decorum, and I can be like, okay, maybe I can tweak it back a little bit given whatever situation that I'm in, but I'm going to be very direct about things. But I'm also that person where it's, don't ask me a question you don't want the answer to, because I'm not in the business of, protecting your feelings because they're your feelings, not mine. So I don't care that much about that. And sometimes things that I come off can be very, very shady. It is, and there's the question, is it shade if it's true? Still can be. So cool, whatever. Then Carlos brings up Letitia calling the women hoes, and that was during the brunch when she was trying to get Marie to come back, and she was like, you giving them hoes something to talk about. And IKEA said she was taken aback by that. And my thing is, now come on, y'all, let's be very clear. Based off the context of the conversation, she was not directly calling y'all hoes. Now, like, come on now. Y'all know what it was. And yeah, she could have used a different word. But I'm like, y'all doing the most right now. And IKEA, I'm sorry, and then Letitia, passively aggressively now, says in IKEA's direction that she will, just say yes ma'am, no ma'am to IKEA from now on. And then she says, that's how we talk. But she will apologize for it. So Carlos mentions to IKEA, okay, well, you said the word hoe too. And then IKEA says, well, I say it all the time. So my thing is, how the hell are you taking it back, IKEA, when that's a part of your vocabulary all the day? I'm like, see, y'all not finna raise my pressure. No, you not. So Letitia says, it's only a problem when I say it. Possibly. IKEA gives out her t-shirts with, some of the sayings and whatnot that she said. It is what it is. She's capitalizing off of her moment. Whatever. So now we get Latrice versus Marie. Marie is asked about, okay, so Marie allegedly has said on social media, commenting to somebody that she was the reason that Latrice had a storyline season 1. So she's asked about that. Marie says production told them the brunch was being shot, and she didn't know that. So she was, she needed some hair and whatnot, which I just don't understand why you didn't wear your hair the way that you've been wearing it that whole entire season. But apparently Letitia told her about Goddess Limbs. She claimed she didn't know who got, like, the brand Goddess Limbs. Okay, give her that. Maybe she didn't. And what she purchased did not match what she had felt in the store and thought it was a bad batch. And she did say there's always going to be a bad batch, which, if we're going to be technical, yes. And when it comes to mass producing of certain things, there are some times where a batch may not necessarily be good, but what does tend to happen is every batch typically has a person that oversees it, and there's a stamp of approval with the person who oversaw it, which means that if it's a bad batch, they can go back to that person and talk to them about it. Nevertheless, we all stood in agreement last season on the panel where, if this was such a big deal, why didn't you just go back to the business? I mean, I'm pretty sure they have customer service hours, this, that, and the third, but you waited for this particular scene to be shot, so you knew what you were doing. And she says at the brunch before it got started, Latrice allegedly told her, if I go off on you, don't take it personal, which led her to believe, okay, she's about to play this up for the cameras. We didn't get confirmation from Latrice if that was the case. So again, allegedly, Latrice says she has a successful business. Why would she want this to be her storyline? She says I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop there, which is a good point. If your business is successful, why would you want your storyline to be that you are giving out horrible hair? Like that is going to be to your detriment. And a lot of the times, before people have an opportunity to redeem themselves when it comes to reality television, the damage is done. I.e., going back to the whole Candy Portia Faison situation where the allegations came out against Candy. And when the allegations came out, she was obviously, vindicated later. But from when that aired up until when the vindication happened, Candy had lost deals and everything else. I'm surprised she didn't sue for defamation because she can clearly show that I lost money and opportunities over this. So it's one of those things where when this stuff gets out there, whether it be reality television or in real time, once an allegation or something like that is out there, people go off of that. Most people don't wait for the truth to come out. And then by the time vindication happens, nobody cares about you being vindicated. And even if they do, the damage is done. People have already had the, perceptions, this, that, and the third. So I get what Latrice was saying. And she says Marie has been investigated for years and then provided Carlos with a document. Carlos asked Marie if she was investigated prior to season 1. Marie pauses and says, no one came into my office. People allege stuff all the time. But here's the thing, you didn't answer the question. And Carlos does a decent job of holding people to the fire, but he doesn't always double back and be like, but you didn't answer my question. And this is one of those where she did not answer the question. I'm going to need for Carlos to tighten up now. Tighten up. Carlos asked Letitia, as a woman who empowers women, why is it so hard for you to empower these women to get along? Letitia says she doesn't know and says that they remind her of each other and it breaks her heart that they can't get along. Carlos has Marie promise that no longer will they talk about bundles and bloggers. Okay, we shall see. So the men are out on stage, all but Cedric, and that is Marie's baby's father. I don't know. I guess ex-husband, estranged husband, don't know the situationship. So now we get to the Letitia and Glenn segment. So Glenn says his last situationship is the first time that he has ever actually had physical relations with a woman. So everything else was either flirting, sexting, whatever the case may be. Carlos brings up the sexting at the end of the season. Letitia shares Glenn was locked out of his IG. She was his backup, and sometimes you do have backup when it comes to certain social medias and whatnot, to where you can go back in and retrieve your account. She goes, recovers the account, and after opening back up, there's loads of messages from all these different women, and it's not just that, but he was entertaining some of the comments. Now, to his credit, even though I'm not giving him much, he was, engaging and then plugging the show, but there were a lot where he wasn't plugging the show and he was just trying to, get in where he fit in. Carlos says to Glenn, you say you're doing everything you can to get her back, but from his perspective, he isn't. Glenn says everyone has a different definition of love. That ain't what he said, but okay. He is loving her the best way he knows how. And would hate it if she did to him what he does to her. So again, you're not answering or you're not touching on what Carlos just said, but the fact that you have admitted, and we all know, and I'm speaking from a man's perspective, most of us can't handle when the issue's done back to us. We can't. It's one of those, we can dish it, but we can't take it. So the fact that he was able to amend, it's like, being forthcoming, okay. But still, it's just, if you know that you wouldn't like it if she did it to you, then again, why would you do it to someone else? Like, come on, dude. Come on. But again, you're only doing what she allows you to do. Because if Letitia would have sat here, put her foot down, and nipped a lot of this in the bud from jump, this probably wouldn't be a thing. And if it was a thing, he probably would be a little bit more discreet about his cheating. Whatever. I done lost my place in my notes. Oh, Lord. I said that. So Carlos asked the women, has the show made it easier for women to direct message their husbands? So Gucci says, it's hard on the man. JJ inbox probably full. You have to know how to handle it. Hell, my inbox probably full. Baby, when I tell you to face JJ, baby, because he look at her like, the hell you speak? I know you lie. I laugh. IKEA says she dealt with this prior to this show with her husband, being in sports and whatnot, and women not even caring if you got a girlfriend, baby mama, wife, whatever. But you gotta know what you have. But she also made it clear that she let him know what he has and pretty much, I am the prize. Okay, you may be a prize, but I am the prize. And if you want to sit here and mess up this, baby, I'm gone because I'm not finna stay. I'm like, all right. And she even said, no matter what she has going on with Letitia, watching their dynamic, it really hurt her as a woman. I'm like, that's nice. That is nice. Even if I felt that, I probably would have said it because I'm an asshole. But that was nice. So now we're about to do DNA testing, and Glenn says if it's his child, he's gonna man up. Letitia's ass, especially with the divorce thing, she was like, the divorce had nothing to do with that indiscretion, and she forgave him for that. And if a baby comes out of it, that's forgiven. It's just everything else that had happened since then, or around that, but not particularly that particular instance. So we get the DNA test, and we all knew that we weren't finna find out until next week. So anyway, that was it. I mean, it was cool, cute. They gave us a lot, and I cannot believe they bringing out JJ's and Soguchi's daughters, but I don't know if we ready because that's gonna be a conversation where we gonna have to sit in it. But yeah, that's all that I have. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm about to go watch all of my peers' videos because I cannot wait to see what they have to say. And make sure you check out their videos too. But please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all for the next video, which will be Love and Marriage Huntsville, and you will get that tomorrow morning. Peace out.